Hey there guys and gals, it's time for my annual Comic-Con swag video and thoughts and feels and what have you. But this time it's going to be a little different. Well, first of all, because why is my head down here, you might ask? Because I didn't think this through. Because I didn't think this through. However, this video is going to be weird because it's only going to be half my Comic-Con videos. I'm going to put this on the new channel, which is for vlogs and stuff like that. And on my gaming channel, I'm going to talk about all the games that I played and or saw at Comic-Con. Unless it was a panel, then it'll probably be discussed in both. But anyway, let's get into it. Tons of swag this year. Not as much as I would have liked to have gotten, but what can I say? We're going to go through it. I'm going to try and get these posters out the way first. That way I could just move them out the way. We picked up some, what is this, Winter Night Trilogy. I just threw some swag on the floor. Swag. Where's the camera? Here's the camera. It's kind of cool. Winter with Witch. I don't know what this is about, but I like these posters. Except I don't have any more room for posters anywhere, ever, and thus they will probably be up in my eBay shop soon enough. There is, now we got some stuff for the World of Lore, which actually has some pretty decent art, and I hear it's actually like a scary podcast about creepy stuff. And if I was into podcasts, I would probably look it up. But I am not into podcasts, and I feel like that's a detriment to me. So these will probably also be going up in the eBay store soon enough. Got one Greetings from Alola poster for Pokemon. Going to be up in the shop soon. Really, this is just, this beginning part is going to be an ad for, you know, the shop. I got another, Cassandra Clare's Dark Artifices series has some crazy good art for posters and stuff. Like, it's crazy good. And in addition, they handed out a sampler. They handed out a sampler for the newest book, Queen of Air and Darkness. I didn't actually get any advanced reader copies of anything this year, which is kind of a bummer, but stuff happens. So I'm going to put this with that poster so I remember that they're together. The Yen Press booth had like 2 posters the whole weekend. I should have grabbed more, but this is the only one I got. This is for Sword Art Online, Gun Gale Online. That's going up in the shop. It's way too big for me to put up for a series that I don't watch and or care about. Now, the next set of posters came from the DC Vertigo booth, or rather, DC Vertigo panel. Vertigo is like an imprint of DC that's kind of like on mature storylines. Neil Gaiman does a lot of stuff in it. But they had this one poster for the Book of Magic series, Books of Magic, that really looks like Harry Potter. I feel like a lot of people are going to like this poster. I got a bunch of them. I didn't even go to the panel, but nobody took the posters apparently, so there was a ton of them for me, which is great for my personal gain. Got maps for the Road to High Level, which I know absolutely nothing about. Yeah, I know like legitimately nothing about them. Then I got a bunch of panels, a bunch of posters for Goddess Mode, which I actually want to look into. Like, this is really interesting and cool art, which apparently comes out in December of 2018. I'll probably be checking that out. If you headed to the Funimation booth, you could sign up for the mailing list for Funimation, which I still haven't received an email from, which is totally okay by me because I got enough spam coming in. And then when you did, you had a chance to get a bag or something else, but I needed a bag at the time. So I got this really cool My Hero Academia bag, which I'm a fan of. And you can see there's also My Hero Academia poster here, which did not come from the booth. It's one of the special ones with, I'm guessing, movie costumes, because it doesn't look like kids' normal costumes. I did not fold that up right. While I'm here, y'all want to hear about the panels I went to? So first one, Friday morning, was Mark Shepard's panel. He played Crowley on Supernatural. His panel was great. His panel was just a great start to the con because he's just like a normal guy. Like, you know, sometimes you meet celebrities, you're like, I don't know, they don't seem normal to me. He just seems like a normal guy. And that's pretty cool. So you're probably going to be like, oh, it looks like Table's different. Yep, table's a little different right now. My clothes are different because actually the next day, my mom came home while I was filming yesterday. Wasn't exactly conducive to me filming more. Well, what I wanted to say is the first panel I went to at Comic-Con this year was a spotlight on Mark Sheppard. You guys may know him as Crowley from Supernatural, King of Hell, or Badger from Firefly. I learned then that he's like a real person. Like, you know, when people talk about celebrities, sometimes they're just like, oh, you know, he's got this air about him like he's better than you or what have you, or she's better than you. Doesn't seem like a regular person. He's a regular guy. And from the way he talks, you can tell he's been through a lot, but he's grown from it. When someone has a problem and they're afraid to talk about it or they're embarrassed to talk about it, you know, it still haunts them, like they haven't gotten over it. And I learned many things. I used to be a musician, like a really good musician with awards and stuff back in the day, but that he was also addicted to heroin at some point in his life. And he was talking about his wife. Now his wife used to be a cutter, but now she can tell people stories and show them the scars. I'm like, hearing that tells me that they've grown as people, and that was really cool. And he had a lot of insights. It was also a really interesting panel because he didn't just stay up on stage. He grabbed the microphone, walked out in the audience, and just started talking to people. It was great. Like, wow, what a person. That was amazing. I wasn't expecting that to be the first panel. The only other panel I've ever seen work somewhat like that was Orlando Jones's panel way back in the day, which was, up until this point, the best panel I'd ever been to at Comic-Con. I think Mark Sheppard took the cake, but he also had a bunch of stories, and a lot of things he said really resonated with us. He was like a con. The atmosphere at a con is very different from anywhere else. Like, you feel like you're with your people and you're not worried. Like, nobody worries when they come to a con. You just come and they're able to be themselves, which I think is great. That's how it should be. That's how it should be everywhere, but obviously that's not how the world works, unfortunately. But he also told one story. Someone was like, tell us something you've never told anyone before. And his story was, he was working on a movie, I forgot the name of it already, which is terrible, but I'm old now and I forget things. It was with, I want to say Wesley Snipes, but I could be wrong, question mark. Anyway, forget the name of the movie. I'll probably find it later, or one of you can tell me in the comments below. What is the movie that Mark Sheppard was in with Wesley Snipes? That shouldn't be too hard to figure out, right? Right? Anyway, his story was the stunt coordinator. At one point he has to get flipped, like judo flipped. Not the stunt coordinator, Mark Sheppard has to get flipped. And the stunt coordinator was this old dude, like 70 years old, but he'd been in the business for years. He's done stunts all over the place. And Mark Sheppard gets flipped, and he falls down. He gets like thrown through the air, and then falls down. Wham! And the stunt coordinator's like, that was good, Mark, but what I need from you is for you to scream. And Mark Sheppard's like, no, I can't. When I'm flying through the air, like all the wind is emptied from my lungs. I don't have any air in me. I can't. And they're like, okay, we're gonna film it again. Take two. Let's try it again. So they flip Mark over. Wham! Hits the floor. No sound. Stunt coordinator's like, that was good, but again, I'm gonna need you to scream when you go through the air. It'll be better for the scene. Mark Sheppard's like, all right, I'll try, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. I'm just letting you know now. I'm pretty sure that I cannot. So they film it the third time. Take three comes around. Mark Sheppard gets flipped. Lets out like a, like, I'm telling you, I can't do it. But by now, this 70-year-old stunt coordinator is upset. So he walks over to Mark and gets real close in his face. And he's like, I'm gonna need you to do this. Mark Sheppard's like, I'm telling you that I can't. So the stunt coordinator grabs the sides of his face, pulls him in close, full on kisses him on the lips. And Mark Sheppard's like, whoa, what the hell? And he's looking around, and he's looking at all the rest of the cast and the crew. He's like, what? The stunt coordinator just kissed me on the lips. And then he turns back to the stunt coordinator, who hasn't moved since he kissed Mark on the lips. They lock eyes, and Mark's like, okay, when I locked eyes with him, I could tell he was furious. Like, he's so angry at me. And I'm like, what just happened? And Sun Creator goes, Mark, you see that I just kissed you, right? You think you don't have air in your lungs? Well, if you don't fly through the air and scream next time, you want to know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fuck you. And Mark was like, what? They filmed the take again. Take 4. Mark gets flipped. Ah! And that's what they have in the movie. And I was like, oh my God, what? And it actually worked. But, you know, some people like to save their buttholes. Even if you're doing heroin and all that jazz. You gotta save the butthole. Gotta save the butthole. But you guys want to get back to the swag? We should get back to the swag. We're gonna get back to the swag. Swag, more swag. Didn't get to go. I did go to the World of Capcom panel on Friday, where they handed out the World of Capcom panel did not hand out posters, but they did talk about a bunch of new games, like Devil May Cry 5. We learned a little bit about playing as Nero and Dante, and I don't think we learned at this panel. They announced the name of the third playable character as Nico, but nobody really cared at that point because they didn't show us gameplay. We don't know what he plays like, but we do know that Dante and Nero's stories play concurrently, and you actually interact with other characters while you're in them. But Grim went to the Devil May Cry 5 panel later on and got these cool posters that will probably be up in the shop at some point. One other panel I went to on Friday was the Dragon Prince panel, which I had been waiting for a while. Did not know came out already. Where is it? Don't know where that is. I will find it eventually. I'm gonna move on to, there was a Shonen Jump panel. I already showed you guys the bag that I got from the Funimation booth, but at the Shonen Jump panel, they gave you this. I do have a code for this. You get a free one-shot manga about All Might Rising. I do have a code. I don't know if they're still active. I didn't even put it in myself. Sorry. At the Shonen Jump panel, we did some trivia from different series. And one of the trivia questions was, this is about to piss off a lot of people, to piss off everybody in the panel. One of the trivia questions they asked the audience is, what planet is Piccolo from in Dragon Ball? And the person that they had up there answering trivia questions said, Vegeta. Let's see, what else did we do Friday? Friday, I'm going to find that eventually. It'll be in this pile somewhere. I'm just going to skip around while I find the swag for that particular thing. B. Schwab, she does the Shades of Magic books, which I have posters for up in my... I'm going to make words. Up in my eBay store already from last year. She's got a new trilogy coming out of unrelated books to Shades of Magic, but those are coming out soon. Shades of Magic actually has a trilogy prequel series of comic books coming out soon. The first issue of the first one, which is about the prince who's a metal wizard. The first issue is out now digitally, and I think also in stores, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Yup, I changed again because I got interrupted last time again. One thing I forgot to mention is that during the V.E. Schwab panel, so I'm sorry if you can hear that, I just went to the bathroom, so you probably hear the water running. But when we were at the V.E. Schwab panel, V.E. Schwab was talking about how in her books, you know, there's a lot of diversity, like white people are a minority. And she was talking about diversity and all that jazz, and someone had asked about if, like, they were shipping characters. And one of the things that she said was, when I'm writing a story, I never think of my characters as being aggressively straight. And me and my coworker who were there and Kembe just started laughing, and we started coming up with phrases that aggressively straight people would say. Like, maybe a girl would be like, "Give me the goddamn dick!" Like, what? In what a strange term to use. Yep, I changed again. Was interrupted one more time. Also just realized if you have the camcorder charging, it does not turn off at all, which is kind of helpful, actually. Might be helpful for me in the future. But there was a dude who did like 40 style prints, and he had one for Pacific Rim, and I need it. There was a deal. Grim got a poster, I got a poster. I'm going to laminate that one, put that one up. The programs this year were special in that they were Batman themed. I hope you guys can see that. I'm not actually sure if you can or not. But there were two different programs. There was one for Damned and one with a Joker on it. And unfortunately I only grabbed one of each because I'm an idiot. I mean, I grabbed a whole bunch of Batman ones, but then it became harder to find the Joker ones as time went on, which was kind of lame. The Den of Geek this year has Halloween on it. You know, is Halloween on Michael Myers? I think it is. Got a bunch more programs. Will probably end up in the store at some point. I'm gonna keep one though for myself, naturally. More meanwhiles. They're basically samplers of comics that students at the Ringling College of Art and Design have made. And sometimes they're actually pretty good. I'll be keeping one, and I'll be selling one. We went to the Marvel panel for Marvel What's Next, I believe, and one of the things they went and described for the longest time was this new storyline where the Punisher becomes a cosmic Ghost Rider because Ghost Rider needed more power. Okay, yeah, oh sure, whatever. So this is a future storyline in which Frank Castle, the Punisher, has died, becomes like a general in hell, gets chosen to be the Ghost Rider, comes back, gets chosen by Galactus to be his herald, then works for Thanos, then goes back in time to kidnap Thanos and raise him, and it's just craziness. Just absolute crazy. It's like fan fiction come to life, essentially. The craziest fan fiction. We went to the panel for the newest incarnation of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which animation-wise is great, but they're changing so much about the Turtles in this series that I feel like no one's going to watch it. Like, all four Turtles aren't using their signature weapons. Like, Leo's only got one sword, but it's a magic sword, so it can cut holes in reality. He's also not the leader anymore. Raph is now the leader, and instead of Sai, he's using Tonfa that let him shoot energy. Mikey's got a Kusari Gamma that has some weird power. And Donnie has a staff that can transform. So there's a lot of weirdness going on. In addition to the DC Vertigo panel handing out those posters that nobody wanted, they also were handing out comics for advanced preview editions of Hex Wives. So I actually ended up grabbing a bunch of those. They'll be up in the store if anybody wants to read that. Not really my cup of tea. We hung out at this booth that was all creator-owned comics. This one, I think, has a Neil Adams cover, if I'm not mistaken. They were handing them out. Seemed okay. Nothing really too special to pique my interest. What else do we got? I picked up some Halo book posters. I will probably be giving one of these to the Laundry King if he ever takes his presents home. It's getting really annoying where I go and give him something and he just leaves it here, and then he doesn't realize. The Laundry King's real name is Dan. On this channel, I'll probably be calling him Dan. And then he doesn't realize, so I just give him the same present over and over and over again. Hopefully he'll actually move on so I can give him another one of those. What else do we get? Oh, this is actually a poster from many, many Comic-Cons ago for Ghost Money. I had actually given it to Grim, and he found it in poster tube and was like, here, this is from Comic-Con. And I was like, yes, for Comic-Con years past, sir. Oh, he also picked this up for me. I'm actually a Red Ranger fan, but this is a badass poster. So that's pretty cool. He had gotten a deal and he needed a free poster, so bam! He gave me that one. I might be putting that up, I'm not sure. Gonna laminate first. Again, there was a Voltron panel. They were handing out Voltron posters. This will be up in my store very soon because while I do kind of care about Voltron, I don't care enough to put up that poster. There's going to be a Kotobukiya series of G.I. Joe figures, the Bishojo series, of like them taking the G.I. Joe characters and making them cute and, you know, hot and sexy. And apparently I missed it, but on Thursday they handed out Baroness posters. On Friday they handed out Scarlet posters, and Saturday was Lady J, who I really don't care about. I would have liked to have gotten the Scarlet poster or the Baroness poster. I mean, I wasn't at Comic-Con on Thursday, so I couldn't have done that one, but I could have at least gotten the Scarlet poster. I also would have liked to have seen the figures, because I feel like, while probably expensive, they're going to be good posters that I could give my dad, because he likes titties. The new Marvel game was debuted, Marvel Battle Lines. These posters are really cool, I'm not gonna lie. I really love the art style. I love everything about them. The game, the way they explain it, is that it's a tactical game, but it looks like the old Yu-Gi-Oh games on the PS2, wherein you like had your cards and you put them on the field and then they could move around. It kind of looks like that, so I'm actually not sure how it plays, but I'm still semi-addicted to Strike Force, so I'm gonna not play this for a while. Look, I'm just saying, I don't want to change anymore, so I'm hopefully going to get this video done. Hopefully. I got what I thought were postcards for Final Fantasy, but they're not. I think they're just prints. I mean, I guess technically you can use them as postcards, but I think they're going to our buddy Knox, aka Andrew, because he loves Final Fantasy, but these were in celebration of the novelization of the game coming out. I don't know if it's a new novelization or if it's the old one and it just finally got translated, because it seems like a long time since Final Fantasy VII came out. You know what I mean? Here's a World of Lore print/card. I already had the posters, didn't realize these go together, but they do. Grimm was kind enough to get me this after actually before we saw the Tick panel, which was the final panel we saw at Comic-Con this year, and it was awesome. I have loved every iteration of the Tick so far, and after Patrick Warburton's, I didn't think anyone could top him, but Peter Serafinowicz, I think that's how you pronounce his name. His Tick is spectacular. And I think it also goes to show like how good of an actor he is, because the last time I saw him was in Guardians of the Galaxy when he was one of the top Nova Corps guys, and he was so serious the whole movie. And then to see him as the Tick, where he's never serious, but I guess serious in his own way, really shows his range. And you know, also because you know the Tick is American, using an accent that he's actually British. That's pretty cool. I'm really looking forward to reading this. Naturally, I grabbed a whole bunch of previews. We got Legend of Greg, Tara, Give the Dark My Love, and Afterward, which I'm hoping are going to be better than the ones that I had last year. I also managed to grab this year's Del Rey sampler, which is kind of cool because when you flip it on one side, half the book is Star Wars sampler, and you flip it upside down, half of it is fantasy sampler. So it's a pretty good combo in my humble opinion. And then I grabbed a bunch of these cards for The Haunt, which have a girl convulsing, it looks like, in hologram on them, because that's, yeah. And then I think these are trading cards for 4 Dead Queens, but I'm not 100% sure. Just grab them. They were free, and I love free. A new book coming out. Got a poster for it. Really like the art. I also feel like Kate would really like this art in particular. I might ask her if she wants that. A comic series that I only catch up on at Comic-Con that I think you should all check up on is Descendant. And I went to the booth, I brought Grimm there this year, and I was like, yo, check this out. And I realized that while I'm more into fantasy, Grimm is more into sci-fi stuff. But Descendant is a comic made by Indian Americans, and the lore and mythology in it is based on Indian mythology, which there really isn't a lot of out there, like in pop culture, social media here. I don't know why I said social media, but in like pop culture / media here, you don't really delve into Indian mythology. So I really like the series, and I was telling Grimm to check it out because I think it's really cool. And he started talking to people, and he was like, well, aren't you gonna buy the issues? And I was like, I have all of them, dude. They apparently didn't get to make a new issue. They've been making one new issue per year. They didn't get to make a new issue this year. But when I said that, he was like, really? You have them all? I was like, yeah, I was waiting for the next one, man. This is the only time I buy them. So I started physical, I might as well keep going physical. And he was like, dude, I'm gonna give you a poster. And this is a limited edition out of 25 poster. They had 2 different versions of it. This is like the bad guy version of the poster. There was also one with scantily clad ladies, but he gave me this one, and I'm totally okay with that. I will actually be keeping this one. Like, I'm not gonna sell it. I think this is a really cool one. I actually do like the series. There's another Dungeons and Dragons book coming out, not about the author, but actually about the art, and I think it looked awesome. So I'm really excited to check this out at some point. I also think the poster is super cool, so there's that. But that one will probably go up in the store at some point. Jim Henson's Dark Crystal, got some posters for that. They'll be up in the store. Apparently, the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance is a Netflix original series that is coming soon, which is kind of cool. I haven't actually seen any of the books for this or anything, but there's a series called Muppets Meet the Classics where the Muppets like enter the classics world. Last year we got Phantom of the Opera. This time it looks like Grimm's Fairy Tales. Then I got these 2 companion set posters for An Ember in the Ashes, which appears to be a trilogy. But they're all about 2 different characters. I'm trying to figure out where on the camera I am. I perhaps did not think this through, surprising absolutely no one. But yeah, this looks like a neat series, but not really one I'm going to delve into anytime soon. Now, the rest of the swag is all fun stuff. So I discovered while I was at the con these toys called Domes. And really, they're action figures that come in their own display cases. But there's a series of them that is all about Venom. And if you guys know me, you know I love Venom from Marvel Comics. Like, I love Venom. Pretty much my top 3 Marvel characters are Deadpool, Venom, and Taskmaster. And kind of, if you consider Taskmaster like as an offshoot, anyone with the same power as him, I absolutely adore. So I love Echo because she also has photographic reflexes. But I found this series called Domes. They're blind bags. There's only 9 in the series. This happens to be Cosmic Space Knight Venom. But I want pretty much all of them, except for there's 2 in this series, even though it's the Venom series. There's a Carnage Dome, and there's a Spider Carnage Dome. And I'm like, but no, I just want all the Venoms. So the first one that I got, actually I bought 2, thinking, oh, I have terrible luck, so what I will get the first time around is someone I don't want. And it just so happened that the first 2 that I bought were both Gwenom, which is awesome. The Spider-Gwen, but with Venom, where like the mouth is the zipper on her suit. I think that's amazing. So I ended up getting 2 of those, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna get more. And I ended up grabbing a bunch more. And I ended up getting another set of doubles, but Agent Venom. The doubles that I have, I will be listing in my eBay shop. But I'm going to try my best to get all the Venom-related ones in this series, and then I'm going to try my best to get the Carnage-related ones for my buddy Will, who you guys will know from the other channel as Teth and Blaze. I'm going to try and do that because he absolutely loves Carnage. I love Venom, he loves Carnage. It's a good match. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Venom domes, and 2 are duplicates. So really, I have 4 of them. And there'll be 2 up in the shop, which is good because I gotta buy the rest. And I'm probably gonna buy them not blind bags unless there's a huge lot of blind bags, but just as the ones that I want. Actual trading cards for the Umbrella Academy, which is a new series coming out. I forgot if it was on Netflix or not. But like, I was amused because he said, take them, trade them. And then I realized it is actually trading cards. Like, there's different cards in each of these packs, which is very unusual for Comic-Con. Usually all the swag is the same. We went to the panel for the Dragon Prince, which is getting a season 2. In addition, I didn't realize it was out yet, and they were talking about what happens at the end of the season, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize. But it is a series that I'm really looking forward to and want to play with. That made no sense. It's a series I'm looking forward to actually watching and enjoying. Every year I get t-shirts. This year there was a deal, so Grim had to get me a shirt. I got a Courage the Cowardly Dog shirt. I was super excited for that. I'm gonna try folding this up a little later. I already wore it once, it's amazing. This was an extra shirt that Grim got for buying some book, but they only had smalls, so it's a shirt for Artemis. That'll be up in the shop because I don't know anything about Artemis, and I realistically don't care. And then I got 2 Dark Souls shirts because y'all know I love me some Dark Souls. Well, if you hang out on my other channel, you would know I got a Sunbro shirt. Gotta be a Sunbro. And I got a Rave Lord Nito shirt. Yes. So now I can, when I'm Grave Lording, y'all know I'm a viewer in that shirt. It's just the way it is. One other piece of, I guess, apparel, if you want to call it that. We went to the Funimation Peep Show panel again. Highly recommend. Well, only if you're over 18, because there are some titties out. Not real titties, of course. 2D titties. They handed out Keijo towels. 2 of the best things from that panel. Last year, they live tweeted it. And there was some dude in the back that was clearly a pervert with a pink beanie. And everyone was just crapping on this guy. Just live tweeting the crap out of how much they hated him and wanted him gone. And the best part by far was when they were like, oh, your prize for staying through the whole thing is everyone gets a Keijo towel. So we're leaving the panel. And as we're leaving, there's only 2 doors open. There's a person behind each door handing out these towels. And people realize that there's a whole bunch of doors that they could go through. So they're like, all right, cool. And they start opening doors and leaving, and then they're realizing no one is there to hand them this towel. And this one southern gentleman, very southern gentleman, he opens his door, sees that there's no attendant there, and he says with such indignity, he just yells, "Where is my jerk rag?" And the entire, like, everybody just lost it. He was so indignant that he didn't get his Keijo jerk rag. He was so indignant. And during the panel, there was a guy probably like 3 rows ahead of us that every time a new girl came on the screen and people were like, ooh, he would yell, "She's 14!" And then someone else in the crowd would inevitably yell, "No, she's like 300!" And it was a raucous good time. I highly recommend staying all the way until the Funimation Peep Show. It's been on Saturday 2 years in a row. I'm not sure if it happened before that Comic-Con, but that's where it's been for the last 2 years. One thing I really wanted to look into, I know they made a movie for Miss Bergren's Home for Peculiar Children. Apparently there's a new book in the series. Excited to read this. My Dark Souls shirts were from Savage Sparrow Studios, who pretty much always have a booth at Comic-Con. Highly recommend checking them out. They're pretty fun. The Funimation panel we checked out gave us these. No, it wasn't a Funimation. Was it a Funimation panel? I think it was the Shonen Jump panel, actually, that handed these out. But there's a promo code for 1 month free of Funimation. But if you have Verve, you already have this, so it doesn't really matter. I got Kotobukiya's catalog while they were handing out the Lady J posters. I mean, I probably wouldn't buy anything from here, but it's cool to look through every once in a while, you know what I mean? Also, can I just say, this Bishoujo series, they should keep it to actual Bishoujo. Like, why does everyone have to make sexy versions of horror characters now? I can't even tell you how many sexy Freddy Kruegers there were. Believe me, I don't want to be fapping when Freddy Krueger is chasing me. Okay? Okay? That's not what I'm thinking. Apparently DC is debuting a new line of children's toys for DC Primal Age. But this is a special run variant where Mr. Freeze is actually frozen. That Grib gave me. He's like, here, take it, do what you want with it. So I will do what I want with it. And it'll probably be up in the shop very soon, because I have zero interest in that. As usual, the tags were Walking Dead. Sunday was Daryl, Saturday was Rick, and Friday was Michonne. I don't know who Thursday was because I never go on Thursday. I don't recommend going on Thursday. Most of the stuff isn't set up. The normal lanyards they handed out were Webtoon, which I think they have been for the last couple of years, but if you went to the Jump Stars booth, or the Bandai Namco booth, you could get a Jump Stars lanyard. And last but not least, for swag, there was a booth that was all like really nerdy stuff. And one of the things you could do at this booth was they had a cup and just a big tub full of dice. And you could go in with the cup and just scoop out a cup full of dice. So Grim ended up getting a gigantic cup of dice. And he gave me a couple because hopefully we'll actually be starting some D&D or Cyberpunk 2020 stuff. I don't know if any of it will be recorded, but our plan is to at least start that in the near future. Alright, while I talk to you about the rest of the panels that I hit up, I'm going to be running some pictures down here of cosplayers and other stuff that happened at the con, because I want to share it with you guys. I want to share my experience with you. But some panels that I forgot to tell you about before were College Humor runs a panel called Actually, and I don't know if it's been running for more than just this year. But it's a panel where they have a bunch of people from their podcasts come on, and the moderator will give like a sentence or a phrase or a fact, but something in it will be wrong. And first, the panelists have the option to ding in and say, actually. So Stefan and I missed the beginning of the panel. We didn't realize that was how the format was. We just thought we hated everybody in there. I don't know about you, but when a nerd says, actually, you just want to punch them in the face. And I just, that is the worst thing nerds can say about stuff that they love. Just, actually, no, you do not want that. Especially when they're wrong. Oh, that's the worst. When someone's, actually, and they're wrong. At least be right, okay? At least be right. So that's when I learned, actually, from a nerd is something that will make me so angry for no reason. Not at all. And the other panel that we got to see on the main stage was The Gifted, which is the Fox show set in the X-Men universe, but it's got like a little bit of X-Force, a little bit of Not, some sort of made-up characters. And it does fit into the X-Men world, like someone had asked the panel, and Jeff Loeb was moderating. They were like, "Are we ever going to see the X-Men on this show?" And Jeff Loeb was like, "Depends on how loosely you define the X-Men, because technically Blink and Warpath are X-Men," and he's not wrong. But I don't think that's what they meant. I think they meant, will it ever cross over? But now that Disney's about to get their hands on some X-Men, maybe that'll change in the near future. Maybe that will change. Which, you know, I'm all for it. If we want to have more crossovers and stuff, that's great. I also heard today, unrelated to Comic-Con, that Iron Fist was canceled, so there won't be any Season 3. But I guess that means Marvel shows are going to have to step their game up in the near future. Now, doesn't it? So, I don't know if it's still going to be running or not, but there will be a slideshow of stuff that I saw at the con. In addition, this video is more about what I saw, how I felt, and one thing I personally didn't notice, but Grim noticed, was that the different venues actually had different rules. So like, if you went straight to the Javits Center, I'm the mom friend, as many of you can, or have figured out previously, I'm the mom friend in my group, and I bring all the food, I make sure everybody's stocked up and ready to go, even though it irks me when I perfectly ration food and snacks, and people eat them on the wrong days. Kenbei. But yeah, I'm not really going to use Kenbei's actual name here because I never call him by his actual name. I always call him Kenbei, which probably did not help Grim in trying to figure out, in realizing that Kenbei is not Kenbei's real name. But yeah, they spread things out. So me being the mom friend, I bring snacks and I bring food to the Javits Center, and the Javits Center, that's totally fine. You just open your bag, you walk in. They don't care. They don't care at all. They just let you walk right in, bring whatever you want. Doesn't matter. But if you tried to bring if you tried to bring food or drinks to Madison Square Garden for the Hulu Theater or the Hammerstein Ballroom, they would tell you you'd have to eat it there or throw it out, which sucks because, first of all, no one wants to eat a $16 hamburger except for Stefan, even though he said he'd never do it again. He better not. Like, unless it's wrapped in gold leaf, no hamburger should cost you $16. But that's just... but they spread it out to a lot of different places this year. And, you know, I honestly wasn't expecting that. Supposedly there's an addition to the Javits Center being made, and maybe we'll have even more space next year, but I still feel like they're going to separate it. It does help a little bit with congestion, but not by much, unfortunately. And it's hard to see, like, when you plan out your schedule, it's very hard to get from one place to the next because you have to get pretty much everywhere early because there's so many people. So if you have panels that are like at the Hulu Theater or at Shop Studios, where I have no idea where that was, so I didn't go to any panels there. And then you have stuff in the Javits Center, like you got to come back and forth all the time, and that's very confusing, first of all, and also obnoxious, very obnoxious. So there was that was a sort of a big deal. And also the 7 train was out of service for the weekend when the Hudson Yards station was pretty much designed specifically to deal with stuff at the Javits Center. And I just think that was funny that they chose Comic-Con weekend to stop using the 7. So there was a shuttle that you could take that was free, but some people had some trouble finding it. The first day we found it fine. The second day, couldn't even find a sign for it, even though people were like, oh, you can take the shuttle to the Javits Center. So we ended up, I think we took the train from Grand Central to Times Square, and then we just walked it. It wasn't that bad. It's not like it's that far away. But it's just, like, why would they choose then? I don't understand why they would choose then to put the 7 train out of service. But as I was saying before, This video is more for regular panels and the swag that I got, and there will be a video on my main channel specifically about the video games that were there, because my main channel's my gaming channel. So I hope you guys and gals enjoy. If you did, leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, sub. But I probably won't be going to any more cons this year. I think I'm conned out, at least until the new year starts. Later, y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
you so much.
That's amazing. Beautiful. I love that every tooth is different. We are Venom.